Hey guys, welcome back. I feel so awkward always saying hi. Do I have to be unique and have some specific intro? What's up? No. Anyways, moving on. I want to make this a quick video, so let's do exactly that. Hello, my name's Chris, graphic designer, and I'm going to teach you how to make a few things. Specifically in this video, we're going to go through some logo design. Now over the past 2 weeks, I've been creating a logo for a client of mine called Danny, and it's been quite an enjoyable process throughout the whole period, and I thought that I could kind of take you guys through the stages that I went through and teach you guys how I like to go about my logo design, and hopefully you guys can maybe try something similar. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, and because I'm not going anywhere, we're going to stay right here. So I've broken it down into 4 different stages. Stage number 1, getting your client. Stage number 2, initial sketches. 3, concept development. And 4, we're going to talk about some refinement. And just to let you know guys, this isn't exactly how you should do it, this is just how I like to do it, and I thought that some people would actually like to learn how I go about it, to maybe imitate or kind of take a note out of my book as well. Stage number 1, actually bagging your client. Now this is the hardest part because it's something that you don't really have control over. However, what you do have control over is how you communicate to each person of interest. Now this client was referred to me through another friend of mine called Daniel. Thank you very much, Daniel. Oh shit. The ring light just fell. Okay. Oh. Nope. Issues. So the first thing that I did when I was put in contact with Danny was basically take him through my logo design process slash package, and I took him through each step and told him what he could expect from the money that he was paying. Now I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys and tell you how much I charged for this process. I charged $750, and I know it is a lot of money. A lot of you could be thinking, how can I justify charging that much if I'm not competent with what I can actually provide? Well, you can charge that much and you can provide $750 worth of good quality design work. And that comes down in the other stages. However, what you should do in this first stage is be able to convey exactly what your logo design process entails so that you can make your client feel like they are getting $750 worth of design work for their brand, which they love. Moving on. So you've bagged your client. Fantastic. Step number 2, initial sketches. Within this stage, what you're basically trying to do is make a variety of different sketches for your client based around the brief that they've provided you. Now, you're gonna wanna ask your client for a brief, and you probably want it in depth as well. The better the brief, the better idea you have as a designer to make a well-constructed logo for your client's brand. So Danny told me that he was creating a sports brand, and he wanted it to be luxurious, he wanted it to be boutique, he also wanted it to be adaptable to different sub-brands later down the track, and these are all things that you need to keep in the back of your head as you're designing. So within your initial sketches, I want you guys, when you are creating or going through this process, to create a wide variety of sketches that can kind of target specific areas. Now, I like to create around 20 to 30 different sketches for my client. This usually takes me about 1.5 to 2 hours, and I do go through the internet and gain inspiration from websites like Pinterest, Dribbble, Behance, and maybe even Google Images if you need to, just to kind of get that creativity flowing and see what other people have created out there. This way, your client will be able to receive a very well-rounded idea or options to then further lead down the process. I like to present these sketches just with some photos. It's really up to you how you like to converse with your client. I usually text. I kind of stray away from emailing because it is a little bit slower and this kind of stuff has to be fast paced. So what I did was send these 2 text messages straight to Danny. However, what I did on top of just sending him the photos of my sketches was explain my thought process. I marked each, and so when I sent these sketches to Danny, I made sure that I wanted him to understand my thought process as I was drawing them. So what I did was color code them. Each drawing that had a red line next to it This was a more boutique, luxurious, and elegant kind of drawing. That was the idea that I had in mind for these sketches. Each blue stroke was more modern. It had a bit more of an ambiguous feeling and interpretation from the viewer, which I was also happy to explore. And each yellow one was more fast-paced, modern, and bold, kind of distinct logo type. And so by doing this, I was able to provide Danny with 3 different fields of logos that we could kind of explore, and it also helped him refine and gain a better understanding where I was wanting to take the process. And so I tell my clients to pick 2 to 3 different logos. I'm happy to take those 3 logos into the next stage. This way we're able to really kind of refine our ideas and then move on as quickly as possible. And so Danny picked these 2. Now, they were actually quite similar logos, which made my life a lot easier because I didn't have to try and create something completely different. I was able to kind of take one logo, adapt it a little bit, and then work from there. Stage number 3, concept development. So once you've got your sketches that you and your client really like, you want to take these onto the computer, onto whatever software you like to use. I use Adobe Illustrator, and basically mock them up digitally. So I don't really play around with colors, I don't play around with typography. This is just where you're starting to create the brand. You're making sure that the lines are all straight, that the angles are on point, and that the thickness is good. No. And that things like thickness, stroke, the general shape of the brand is conveyed effectively. This way, your client is able to identify the 2 to 3 sketches that they've chosen, and they basically get to pick 1 or 2 from here. It took us some time to figure out. Danny ended up picking this specific logo out of the 2, which I was also very happy with. I did like this style better than the other for a few reasons, and I did convey those to him in text message, but you don't want to push your client too much. You don't want to try and sway their opinion. You just want to be able to provide your opinion from a designer's perspective. Concept development is still quite a big process, and what you want to do when you're going through this stage is explore many different ideas. Now, we had this logo, which was cool, but I still wanted to see what else we could turn it into. And so this is where I started playing around with the shapes. I started figuring out how would it look if I was to bring this angle down, or if I dragged this anchor point in and made this smooth or that sharp. And that's what you're really trying to experiment here, providing your client with all of these options. Now, it can get confusing because you've got so many variables, but you want to be able to provide them with as many variables as possible at the end of the day. And so that's exactly what I did. As you can see through my concept development, I really explored a variety of options. I even touched on color a little bit because I wanted to show Danny what this logo looks like when you add an outline and you make that outline red and you have the inside white, or if you have it on a black background or on a white background. And that's what I was kind of really trying to show Danny, the different options that he had. So once you explore a wide variety of concepts, touching on a little bit of color, touching on some outlines, maybe you're providing a drop shadow, you're trying a lot of things, you're getting really creative at this point with the logo that you've chosen, you can start moving into what's called refinement. Now, transitioning into this phase is difficult because you really want to take one concept and then tweak it here and there. However, in this situation, it really wasn't the case. We knew exactly what the logo was going to look like shape-wise, but we weren't too sure with what the color was going to be, nor the typography. And so this is exactly what we had to figure out. We knew that we liked gradients. We knew that we liked the kind of cooler colors. Danny told me that his favorite color was blue, and he also really liked the purple and black combination as well. And so I basically pulled those 2 and contrasted them against each other, and we were able to kind of refine it down to 1. It was both. We made a gradient that went from purple to blue. We experimented with the colors, and then we experimented with typography. Now, we were running out of time at this point, and I didn't want to provide him a whole magnitude of different types of fonts. By the way, this is step number 4, refinement. I knew that he wanted his brand to be boutique and luxurious. I wanted to show him a sans serif font, and I wanted to show him a serif font. Both which I thought were good contenders in their own, but obviously different font styles. And so I explained that the serif font actually comes across in most logos as a more elegant, boutique and luxurious kind of font type. However, the logo that you've actually chosen is quite bold and thick and straight edged, and so I feel like it would suit a sans serif font more so. And we had a bit of a discussion. I actually put it to you guys and we came to the decision to go with sans serif. Now at this point we were really happy with the color, with the logo itself, with the typography. It's starting to shape up to be a really cool, clean logo. What you want to do at this point, especially when time's starting to run out, is you want to wrap it up. Now, I told Danny that we did have to wrap it up and it's completely okay, don't feel bad. You need to tell your client that time is starting to run out. I basically told him I'm happy to send the second half of the invoice, and then once that's paid, I'll send over the files. Now the job's not done. Even though they've paid the invoice, you still need to finish the job, and this requires sending them the files. What you want to do when you're sending your files is basically provide your client with as much variety of the logo as possible. I positioned the logo in a horizontal way, I positioned the logo in a vertical way with a smaller logo, I also positioned it in a vertical way with a bigger logo. Provided him with the logo itself, and also provided him with just the typography. And I did this 4 times for when the logo is being presented on a white background, for when the logo is presented on a black background, and because we did decide to go with a blur as well, but I knew that he wasn't too sure whether he liked it or not, I just decided to provide him with both. And so sending him all of these logos, he's super happy by this point because he's got so much to play around with. He feels like he's received as much value as he possibly can, and his $750 is well worth it because it is. You've done a great job and you've got another happy client. Now I really hope I haven't missed anything, and I hope I haven't really rambled on. I really tried to touch on every single aspect of the process itself. However, if you guys have any questions, queries, or you want to know anything else in regards to how I went about this logo design process, please feel free to shoot me a DM or leave a comment below. I had so much fun creating this whole design for Danny, and I've also enjoyed creating this video for you guys and interacting and asking questions of the whole process with you guys on Instagram. And I can't wait to do more stuff like this. So thank you very much, guys. Like, subscribe, get involved on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one. Yo.